Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Today's training, I am talking about the 5 things that you need to start a woodworking business. So, let me pull something up real quick here while people are hopping on. Hopefully, everyone is having a great day. Hopefully I can see a couple comments. Thanks for everybody that's here live. I see a bunch of people coming on in. Hello, hello. I'm actually also on Instagram, which I haven't done there in a while, and Facebook, of course. So today we are talking about what you need to start a woodcraft business, because I see the reason I even wanted to do this, which is a free training, is just to help anybody. I see a lot of people get hung up on things that we don't need to get hung up on. So let's get some clarity. Hi, Pamela. Hello. I see some people saying hi too. So cool. Okay. So if you don't know me, I'm pretty straightforward and potent. I kind of like to get to the point. So this isn't going to be one of those long, drawn out trainings. I just am kind of like, hey, we don't have a ton of time. Nobody does. So, hi, Amy, Christy, Nina. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday, Jennifer. Thank you. Tracy says hi from Texas. Woohoo. All right. So today I'm going to get you from wondering what you need to do to a place of inspired action. Okay? Because it's really hard sometimes. Like, you just don't know what you don't know. All right? Like I said earlier, people just get hung up on things that just don't really matter. So that's why I wanted to kind of cut through the noise and let's actually talk about what matters. By the way, I know a lot of people are going to watch this on the replay. So if you are watching on the replay later, feel free to drop questions. I'm going to keep today pretty short. And if you have questions, I'm going to go back and answer them. And I may do like a video format, like a short video format, because me typing an answer, there's kind of like a short answer. So I may do some videos. And just see where those questions go. I think I mean, we may even do like a part 2 at some point, depending on what direction people are going. So, Deanna says, my first time getting to join you live. Yay. Well, yay. Thank you for joining as well. All right. I'm actually seeing comments. I actually don't really see a whole lot of comments. So, and as I go along, feel free to ask questions. I may not answer them as I'm going through, see how it ends up, and what I can answer. Debbie says, hi, so cool to see you live. I love all your creations. Thank you. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Kim. Diane says, just what I needed. Good timing. That is right. All right, so there's also a worksheet that actually, if you comment jumpstart, just like one word, jumpstart, that bot will send you the link to the download, the opt-in. It's a free worksheet. It's just to jumpstart your woodcraft business, because what I like to do when I get ideas on things, I have to dump them into like a Google Doc or like Excel spreadsheet or just something. And in my worksheet that I made for you, there's different prompts in there showing you, or just like kind of getting your brain, like just getting those juices flowing, like what is it that I actually need? What is it that I want? And that worksheet, you're not going to find the information in today's training. They're totally separate, but they go along together. Okay. Debbie says, I am almost scared to start using a scroll saw. I need to just do it. Oh yeah. That's scroll saw. You got that for sure. Okay, so if you don't know me, I'm Jen. I'm founder, CEO, instructor at Woodcraft Blueprints. If you have landed on my page here, you probably know that I do woodworking. But I'm just an entrepreneur. Like, that's just also what I am. And so I also like to help other people realize their dreams as well. So a quick backstory. First, I learned woodworking at a custom stair shop in my 20s. Worked there for a few years, and then the housing market crashed 2008, 2009. So unfortunately, that place went out of business. But I went back to college, got a degree, and got for ag business, and then I worked for a few years, and I liked my job. I always did woodworking as just like a hobby. Like I had a scroll saw and a miter saw, and I just kind of made random things for myself or for friends, and then I had my firstborn, and I realized it was really hard to work full time, be a good employee, and also fulfill all the duties of mom. And I'm the kind of person, I just don't want to scrape by in life. Like whatever I'm doing, I want to be good at it. So I started exploring kind of work from home jobs, that type of thing. And really it dawned on me, I was like, I'm good at woodworking, and I'm just a very creative person. So just fit all of these things that I'm naturally good at. So then I just started growing my Etsy shop. The first thing I started on there was a cupcake stand. I had made one for my wedding just a couple years prior. And then I started getting a couple orders. So it was just literally this huge snowball effect. Started with one thing. And by the way, the cake stands that I made, they're literally boxes. I'm trying to find one. I don't think I have one right here. It's a wood box, okay? And then I just added more and more to that. And then I ended up niching just in wedding decorations, like rustic wood wedding decor. I didn't do signs, I didn't stencil, I just made some things, stained them, and shipped them. And the Etsy business just grew from, $10,000 one year. I don't know the exact amounts, but I remember 1 year is 50,000. And then 1 year is 100,000. There's 120,000. That is 150,000. So it just kept going and going. You're just not going to jump from 0 to 200,000. You have to work at it. And then while I was doing that, I also wanted to start my membership, which is how this page was born. Because I really wanted to show people holy smokes, I'm literally living my dream right now. I'm working, I'm a self-employed woodworker, selling my things on Etsy. I was able to leave my full-time job. Now I have more time freedom, more financial freedom. I could do all the things I wanted to do. So that's my goal. That's all I want to do, is help people realize that anything you want to do, you can do. So what's different about my business is that I didn't have, I didn't have a big shop. I had a small wood shop, and really just, I didn't have big industrial equipment either. I had a miter saw, a table saw, I wasn't all of these, I didn't have to go out and get a loan out and buy equipment or anything like that. I just started small, and I used what I had. And still to this day, I've got a lot of other machinery that I don't even really have to use. So that's a big hurdle, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to look at my notes. I actually wrote some notes down to keep me on track, because I can go off. So, but you know what too? And now that I've started this page, I'm a video creator, and I see this space, and there are a lot of influencers, and they have really nice shops, but that doesn't mean that you have to have a really nice shop as well. I actually, I have a pole barn. It's my wood shop. A third of it is the wood shop part. I call it the sawdust part. The other part, the other 2/3, is for staining, storage, lumber, crafting, that type of stuff. But before that, I was just in the 1/3 of this pole barn. And I actually stained in my garage. So I would sand and then walk up to my garage and stain. And I did shipping in a spare bedroom too. So now all that is done in the barn. But I didn't start off with a full barn. I made what I had. I used what worked. Just use what I did. All right. Okay. So the 5 key elements that we're going to talk about today, and by the way, the 4th one, people always overlook. I don't know why. I guess you just don't know what you don't know, but it's always overlooked and probably like a big reason why people fail, and still don't even realize it, honestly. All right. So the first thing is tools, and I already kind of mentioned that a little bit. You don't need all the tools. So in my membership that there's over 1,000 members now, and there's all skill levels. There's a lot of beginners that come in and they say, hey, what tools do I need? So they're just starting out, okay? And I would say over and over and over again, the same thing. A miter saw, an orbital sander, and then a drill, and then probably like a crown stapler or a brad nailer, okay? And those are like the power tools. There's other little tools and stuff, but when we break our projects down, what are we doing? We're cutting, we're sanding, and we're assembling. So in order to do those actions, you have to have a couple tools. So a miter saw. This is a 12-inch slider, and I always had a 10-inch that wasn't a slider for the longest time. Still my favorite saw, but anyway. You don't have to have a slider necessarily. And the orbital sander, they are not expensive either. Your miter saw will be your biggest investment for sure. But you also need an orbital sander. And we want, don't waste your time with the little mouse sanders. Have like that little point or whatever. Don't waste your time with those. We're sticking with the orbital sander. Preferably one that has variable speed, so you can turn it up or turn it down if needed, which I don't really adjust the speed a lot, but you want to be able to do that. So yeah, saw, sander, and then we want to assemble. So, excuse me, I have a rigid drill, not an expensive drill, but if we're putting things together, stuff with like, say we're having a bigger project with 2x4s, we need something with strength. So you need a screws and a drill. Now, smaller things, I prefer a crown stapler. I think it holds better than a brad nailer. Although, there's instances where a brad nailer is the better option because you just need something a little bit more lighter, delicate. So then, I'm just trying to think here. I got something. Okay, sorry. Got a notification on my phone. Forgot to turn those off. Okay. So yeah. Now, like in the projects that I mostly make, I use a crown stapler 90% of the time. And then I use pretty much a drill and screws for other things. I would say get a drill first and then get a narrow crown stapler. By the way, this is what a narrow crown stapler is, and it has little narrow staples just like that. And these just have a better hold. Like these are made in furniture building, some cabinet making, just a better hold than a brad nailer. All right. And then you have some smaller tools as well. So I just got some examples in case you didn't know what a hammer was, but we have a hammer, nail pullers, super handy, a chisel. I also want some wood clamps, and then you have supplies like wood glue and some stain, because those are all things that you will need to have eventually. So tools are, one of the investments, and honestly it's kind of fun, but you don't have to have the best brand to start off with. I have a DeWalt scroll saw, but I also have one from Harbor Freight, and the one from Harbor Freight I used before I moved up and got my DeWalt. Now, yes, I do love my DeWalt one now, but the Harbor Freight one, it worked. It worked for me, it worked for what I needed. So, you don't have to have like expensive ones. Now, the second thing that I think a lot of people also really get hung up on, and a lot of people are going to feel this, and I still feel it too, is Workspace. But you need to have a dedicated workspace. Now, a lot of people work in their garages, and garages are like a dual purpose. Your car's in there, the lawnmower's in there, and you have kids' toys and, you know, lawn chairs and things like that. So if you say your saw is tucked under on a shelf, and every time you want to go make something, you have to pick your saw up, you know, set up a table or cart, walk it out there. If you have to do that every time just to cut a board, how much do you think you're going to get done? Or how motivated are you going to be to go into your wood shop? Probably not very motivated, because that's like your friction point, you know? Every time it's like, oh, I gotta do that, but then I have to do this. Then I have to do that. It's just gonna make it really hard. And you wanna like reduce those friction points. You wanna make it easier on yourself. So I'd really recommend getting like a work table, like a 4x8 or even just a 4x4, something that you can have your stuff set on. And down below, if you have a nice shelf where you can like keep your things, you know, that's just gonna make it more convenient. Because if you are just always having to get this out of storage and out of that, it's just hard to do. And if you do make something and you put your tools up, and then you say you get an order for it, then you gotta get all your tools back out. You know what I mean? So it's just not efficient. And I could go into efficiency, because after my Etsy shop was getting multiple orders a day, that's when I really had to scale and really think about exactly what I was doing. Because it takes a lot of time to make things. So you really need to have, what's the word? Not a SOP, but like a standing operating procedure. But you need to have, I forget the word. I also have a bad memory of what you do. You know what I mean? Because if it's different every time, it's just hard to do. So, but we just want to kind of eliminate those friction points. So having a dedicated workspace. And I know some people have she sheds, and yeah, that is a huge purchase, and you probably want to heat it and cool it as well. So don't forget about that expense part of it. But something like that could be a good option as well. So, like I said, I still have a small wood shop area, but as I grew, then I got to grow that. Amy says, 100% agree, this is my situation right now. Yeah, I do. I feel that that's a lot of people's situation. So just being like, you know, putting some tape up and be like, this is my area. It's really important to me that I just have my own area, you know? And then still, I'm not perfect. Like, I still have craft supplies in my office and stuff, but, you know, we just do what we can. All right, moving on to number 3, which is a way to take payments. Now, I just mentioned how you want to reduce friction points, and you want to do that in all parts of your business. Because if it's hard for a customer to buy from you, they're not going to buy from you. I don't care if you're in person, at shows, online, however you are set up. If a customer, if there's all these like hoops they have to jump through to buy from you, they're probably not going to buy from you at all. And people think that you are accessible, but you're not. So let me give you a little example. Kind of the same thing. I have a family member, a relative that I just saw a couple weeks ago at a family thing, and she's making jewelry now. And I was like, oh, cool, you know, like, what do you have? And like, well, it's all at my house. I was like, oh, okay, you know. I was like, do you have any pictures? And she's like, well, it's kind of all over my phone, you know. And I was like, okay. So basically, if I wanted to buy jewelry from her, I couldn't. Like, I would have to like go to her house and dig or something. I don't know. So just, that's an example of having a customer have to jump through a hoop. They're just not going to do that. Now, if you're selling locally, I would set up like a Venmo account or PayPal or something like that, because not everybody has cash on them. So you want to make it easy. And I know when I was at craft fairs, let's say a lot of my items that were $20 to $30, people would pay cash for it. But if over $40, over $50, it seemed like people wanted to save their cash and they would just pay for a card. So you need to be able to take some type of payment as well. And you can tell them, hey, I prefer cash, but I also have Venmo. I also have PayPal. I also have Square, or I can swipe your credit card, whatever it is that you want to do. And even online too, however they have to pay, you just don't want to make it difficult as well. Like I always say I have that PayPal option, because a lot of buyers, like it stores their information, it'll like pre-populate it. So somebody's like on their couch, in their jammies, shopping, and do you think they're gonna get up, walk to their purse, get their credit card number? No, they just want it simple. So think about that. Think about how you shop too, because if you like, just put yourself in your customer's shoes. If you had to do this, do that, and do that, I mean, chances are the purchase isn't going to happen. So you want that seamless. You want that as smooth as possible. All right. And if my relative, which I told her, I was like, you need to set up an Etsy shop, because I was like, because she thinks she's going to do shows. And I said, that's fine if you want to sell sometimes. So if you had an Etsy shop, she could have got her phone, showed me exactly what she has. I could have bought from her, and she could have been like, hey, put in the discount code local, and then you can get 10% off for family and friends or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's an option to do as well. Had she set that up, she may have got some sales from the family members, because we're asking about it. So, and I also told her too, like Etsy is, she said, I don't want to do Etsy because I'm in groups, jewelry making groups, and people gripe about Etsy. I said, yeah, the people that have a bad experience are going to gripe, but the sellers that are getting orders and making things, they don't have time to go in the groups and gripe, or go in the groups and sell everybody on Etsy. Like, you don't hear from them. You just hear from the loud minority of the people that complain. So just something to think about. So, but I saw the light bulb go off and I was like, yeah. Okay. So the fourth thing, actually, let me see a comment right here. Jody, that's what I was going to say. She said, right now, cash and Venmo are working well for me. Yes, I mean, keep it simple. Keep it basic. Venmo and cash. Pretty much everybody has Venmo or cash. So I think that's a great idea, Jody. Lisa says, so if I had to start off with a miter saw from Harbor Freight, that is okay, right? Yeah. And even old tools, like once you outgrow a tool, you can sell it on Marketplace and still recoup some of your value, or keep it as a backup. I never really had a machine go down, except like a sand or die on me. But if you're like in production mode and you're working on stuff, you don't want a tool to go out on you. So I keep backups just in case as well. So, okay. So the fourth one, and this is the one that a lot of people overlook, which my family member was already overlooking. And I'm probably going to say this is probably the number one killer of most businesses and small businesses in general, is traffic. So if you kind of zoom out on a macro scale and just think about the sales process, you're gonna have the best product in the world over here. But if there's nobody to see it, nobody's going to buy it. Now on the flip side, you could have like an okay product over here, and you can have a lot of eyeballs over here, and you're probably gonna get some sales. So traffic is absolutely key. Now, you're probably like, yeah, okay, how do I get traffic? Because like naturally that's the next question. Well, there are places that have built-in traffic. So if you're doing local shows, then like you want to go to a popular local show. So like a vintage market that has a lot of customers going there, that place has built-in foot traffic, all right? Online, Amazon, Etsy, Fair, people go to that website and then search. So they have built-in traffic. You can start a Shopify store and have it fully decked out, have 1,000 products, have amazing images, everything. But hit publish, nobody's gonna go to it because they don't know it's there. They would have to find it in Google search, which is really hard to do, or they have a massive social media following or a massive email list. And mostly people that are just starting off do not have that. It's a pay-to-play game. Pay for Google ads, pay for Facebook ads. That's what these platforms want you to do. Okay? So going to Amazon or Etsy or Fair, they have high seller fees, but that is because they are bringing you traffic. Would you rather, I would rather get a $30 purchase and pay Etsy $2 rather than get no sale and pay them no money. I'd rather get sales all day and pay them money because I'm getting sales. I'm not breaking yourself down, trying to on the social media hamster wheel. Betsy says, sorry, I'm late. I was making a s'mores box. Well, that's awesome. Betsy is one of my members, and she's actually a very active and busy member. She makes a lot, and her stuff looks great. So thanks for sharing that, Betsy. If, let's say a small business opened up, some kind of a shop or boutique opened up in your town, and they were open one weekend a month every 2 months. Now, if you saw that, you would be like, that's kind of weird. Do you think they're going to stay in business for long? No, probably not. Why? Well, because they're not going to have enough sales. You just want to be able to support yourself being open 6 times a year, And that's kind of what doing a show is. If you're doing craft shows, you only are allowing yourself to be visible for 5% of the year. You know what I mean? You want to be visible 365 days a year. You want to get sales every day. If you are in a side hustle, then that's a different story. But if you definitely want to take it full time, you definitely need to have traffic every day. You need sales every day. You have to have visibility every day. Okay? Now, back to that shop. If they were only open, now, I guess there would be, if you wanted to do craft fairs and like travel a lot and be like a nomad, yeah, you can make it work. But I think craft fairs, I think they're great. But I think it's more of a supplement and getting started. But if you're really like, I'm growing, I'm serious, you really do need to go online for that. And there are different avenues for that. I know you'll hear me say, I like Etsy because it was great for me. But if somebody doesn't want to use it, then they don't have to. There's other ways to do it. And I did sell on Amazon for a short period of time, excuse me, but their seller fees were actually very high, but their customers were different too. They would order it and they would expect it to ship in like 2 days, and like my stuff was made to orders and I had like a 1 week processing time. So I just didn't really care for Amazon, me personally. So, but then Etsy was like, I had a ton of income, so I didn't need Amazon anymore. Okay, now, if there's any questions about the traffic, let me know. But I really, I just don't want to keep talking, like repeating myself, but it's very important. Just think about how many people are seeing your stuff every day. Local sales versus worldwide. I mean, when I first started selling cake stands and shipping them to California, because I'm in Illinois, I was like, what? California? Like, whoa. And then they're like, Texas. Like, oh my gosh, Texas. I could not believe it. Like, I literally could not believe all these people from all over the United States were ordering this. I mean, at first it was just totally unbelievable. But, and my prices were way higher. I tried selling the same stuff locally and I did not hardly get any sales, and I had to lower my prices. Now, online, it was like, whew, like all that was done. So, Elizabeth said, do you recommend a website and branding as a top priority? Not necessarily a website, but just however you're going to get traffic, because that is what is important. On Etsy, I made a little logo on Canva and that was easy peasy. So on Etsy, there's a little branding that you can do. So yeah. Deanna says, can you share your cake stand blueprint? I'll just show it to you. It's just, I mean, it's just like a box. So, and I'm pretty sure, well, I'm trying to think. I have shown my members. I know I have for sure. I saw a good question. Oh yeah, Sonia says, how did you get traffic to your Etsy shop? So I didn't have to do anything to get traffic to my Etsy shop. People were already in Etsy. So Etsy does two things. First of all, they pay for Google ads. So if you go into Google and search, say customer search, rustic cake stand, there's a good chance that my picture or a competitor's picture, somebody in Etsy was going to show up for that. So, and if you get sales and you're an active seller, Etsy will reward you for being like a great seller. Or if the listing's like active and popular, they try to get you up in search. So Etsy helps you on Google search, which is like, you could pay $100,000 in Google ads a year. Like, Google's ridiculous, okay? Side note. But then also, people just go to Etsy because they know it's handmade rustic decor. I mean, for my wedding stuff, that's what it was. So people already knew to go to Etsy to look for that. So there's a two ways there. So I didn't have to do anything. At one point in time, I'll just do a side note, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm paying a lot of Etsy fees right now. So I started a Shopify store. I started a Facebook page for my wedding decor and was trying to do all that. And guess what? It did not get traction, which I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it, but Etsy was just already bringing me customers and sales, so I didn't have to do that. Not to say people don't do both. I see a lot of brands have started on Etsy and then ended up getting off of the platform as their brand developed. So, but then there's people that just stay on Etsy because it's easy. It's like super easy. I was looking at the comments here. Kathy, I just shipped in the US. I did not ship internationally. It just cost too much. Nicole says, oh, she's in a craft market. Oh, how long should I keep stuff in my booth before switching out? Well, you'd have to work your booth. I say weekly or bi-weekly if you really want to keep it fresh. So yeah. All right. Okay, so now we're hitting the last thing, the last thing that you need in order to start a woodworking business. And by the way, that worksheet, if you comment Jumpstart, you can get a worksheet to help you brain dump. So the last thing is products to sell. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, duh, I already knew that. But a problem that I see a lot of is people bouncing from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And none of it is like cohesive, different styles. I mean, you just don't want any products to sell. What you want is something that is trendy, that people are going to want to buy, okay? Because that's how you're gonna get sales. If you're selling stuff that is way out of style, it's likely not going to sell, okay? So there's like a lot of different elements with color and just like finishing, painting styles, techniques, how you, sealing it, say you, I'm having a moment here, distressing it, things like that, because those little elements are actually going to set you apart. You can, okay, so we're going into the fall season. You can have two signs, let's say porch leaners, that say Happy Halloween on them. One is painted orange, semi-gloss orange, and stenciled Happy Halloween. The other one can be painted a more of a Aztec orange. I'm trying to think of the color, like a burnt orange, sanded and distressed, and then stenciled Happy Halloween, same thing. But guess which one's gonna sell? Probably the one with the distressing, because that is still a very popular look. Painting in semi-gloss is not a popular look anymore, so stop doing that, okay? Look to see, I like to look at, I'll get on Etsy and just browse and see what's popular. Also look at interior design, because they are usually ahead of trends. So if they're seeing a lot of a white, you know, farmhouse style, or not a lot of white, then they kind of, I don't know, I just feel like that's usually where the direction's heading. Because wood crafts that we make, people are using them to decorate with, they're decorating their homes with our crafts. So if you're using colors that are not in style, that they can't use, it won't blend in with their home, they're not going to buy it. So I know people are like, well, I just need to make stuff that I like, or I can make, or whatever, but you really need to make sure that it is appealing, eye pleasing, is that the word? Yeah. In order for people to want to buy it, because I mean, the bottom line is, if it's not cute, it's probably not going to sell, okay? And your taste is not everybody's taste. I know what I like to do. My listings, and I still do this now with things that I sell, I offer different stain colors. So I used to use a lot of darker stain. Not anymore. People like a really light, natural color stain. Now, not to say there won't be some people that like a dark stain, so that's why I like to offer like different shades and let the customer pick those out. Because, like I said, a gray, I know a gray was big for a while, and people still like it, but there's like a lighter gray now that people like even more, but it has that more natural tone to it. So, but yeah, just something to think about. It's got to be cute. Because if it's not matching up, you might be stuck with it. And then also, when you're thinking of products to sell, you want to make sure that it's something you can replicate, because if you're always doing random one-off projects, they're hard to do. The more you can replicate the same thing, the more efficient you're going to be, and you're going to get better at it, if that makes sense. The first time I make something, it is not my best work. It's not my best work, okay? The second time it's a little better. The third time, okay, now it's starting to look better. By the fifth time I make it, it looks way better, okay? So if you're always just starting this and starting that, it's gonna be harder for your quality of work to improve. That's why I like to just make the same thing over and over again, because it's more efficient, but also your quality of work will improve. And once your quality work improves, then you can actually charge more. You can ask more money for your things because your quality is now known for being good. We are about to enter fall and Christmas season. They are the biggest selling season for decor and for gifts. So right now is when you need to start capitalizing on, there's a fly in here, oh my gosh. So right now you need to start capitalizing on that. Making your stuff for your fall shows or your fall line, your fall collection, whatever you got, and Christmas. And right now you can simultaneously work on both. If you know you got a Christmas show coming up in November, start, you know what I mean? Start thinking, okay, so I'm gonna make fall stuff in July. And then August, I will start making Christmas stuff, you know what I mean? They're the biggest sellers, or biggest selling season, the second half of the year. Elizabeth says, do you make one of an item and then wait for orders, or do you make a bunch of them all at once? I would make a couple, like one or two, and then take good pictures. I never had the storage to have things ready, but there was a few common cake stand sizes that I knew I sold a 16-inch all the time. So I would have those ready to go. So I could just have my girl that helped me stain, she could just pull them, stain them, and then they'd be ready. Kimberly, she's asking about creating items like professional sports team. That's an IP thing, intellectual property. Anything that's trademarked, you can't do. So, yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, if you comment Jumpstart, that is what the download is for. You get a link, the chat bot, go into your inbox and give you a link to do a worksheet to help you get your business ideas down. So Jody says, that's my plan, is to start fall right now because I really enjoy fall items and colors. Yeah, that's my girl, because I love fall too. It's like my favorite time of the year for sure. So yeah, and then gift giving, big as well. And yeah, you know, gift shopping for gifts is really hard. So if you can get in front of people and say like, this is a perfect gift for this guy or this guy or this guy, people are like, oh my gosh, thank you. You know what I mean? Kay says, can you please give us some ideas on fall and Christmas? Well, on my page, I do seasonal stuff. In my membership, we are getting ready to kick off Fall Frenzy. And so we have 12 tutorials from prior years. And then we're doing 5 brand new fall project tutorials that are coming up in the membership. So there's going to be like 2 recorded ones, 3 bonus ones, and that's what I've been working on. So I got some top secret stuff going on over to the side of me. I had to make sure my camera was right there. But yeah, so those are actually going to be released pretty soon for that. But yeah, in the membership, that's where I really spend most of my time and energy and effort helping the members out, because yeah, so let's see here. Oh yeah, I was going to mention that too. I do a big, Nicole says sneak peek. So I do like a fall frenzy, and I'm also doing a Christmas blitz later on as well inside the membership. And then you can join anytime, you can cancel anytime, but starting next year, I'm going to have my doors closed to the membership. Right now you can join whenever. but I think I'm just gonna close the doors and just open them a couple times a year, just to make my life easier. So that's one little change that's gonna happen. So if you're not in membership yet, I invite you to join us because it's easy to join right now, and we're getting into the best time of the year, quite frankly. Jody says pumpkins are always best for fall. Yeah, so yeah, I really yeah, we got a couple pumpkin things as well, some new twists on some old things, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And that's really why I created the membership in the first place, because I worked a full-time job. My side hustle was woodworking, and I would go online and I was looking at plans and fall ideas, and I was never actually getting any good ideas, or I would find something and it's like the instructions weren't very good, or it was a free blog post and they're missing half of the instructions, and then I would have to make a template, and I don't know, it just ended up being, I wasted a lot of time. So when I started the membership, that was my goal, is to help people get exactly what they need to get building, instead of like endlessly searching YouTube, endlessly scrolling through Pinterest, because you can waste a lot of time doing those things. Oh, thank you. Shelly says you will not regret the membership. Come join us. Kathy asked, if we join your membership, can you buy past blueprints? You can access them after you're a member for 3 months. So you get instant access to a lot, and then after 3 months, like all the past library for the past 3 years is unlocked. Oh, membership has been a game changer. Do it. Thank you. That's so nice of you. Nicole says membership is amazing. Teresa asks, Etsy video would be great. Pros and cons and how to maneuver through it all. I, along with many others, probably want that. Yeah. Yeah, I do some Etsy trainings sometimes. Jody says membership is great. I love this group. Well, thank you, Jody. Thank you guys. So yeah, it's like I said, doors are open. We can do that. And it's, like I said, you can cancel if it's not for you, but you're gonna find there's over 1,000 other people in there that are like totally rocking it. I mean, there are literally rock stars in there, so it's very awesome, and it's a very supportive community. That is just, I mean, that's just the members. They're great. Deanna says membership is the best thing I've ever done for myself. Well, that's awesome. And Kay says membership is awesome. Thank you guys. That's so nice of you. Super, super nice. Okay. All right. So I'm going to end this training. And then questions that I missed, I can go back and answer them. I have to hop off here. I actually have a hair appointment, honestly. So, just a busy day as usual. I love it though. I love being busy like this. So anyway, oh, thanks for all the hearts. Thanks for the love, guys. I really hope this helps somebody. And hey, I hope to do more trainings like this as well, because I just want to see people get going. It just really helps. Seeing somebody do something, it may be the little bit of a motivation, just what you need to tell yourself, I can do that. I mean, sometimes that's just all it takes, you know what I mean? So yeah. Oh, Elizabeth says, thank you, helpful. Oh, Sonia says, thank you, going to get membership for sure. Yeah, and I'll try to drop a link as well. Actually, if you comment member info, I think the chat bot, I need to name my chat bot. That should pick up and email you a link with more information to that. So, okay guys, well, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you again soon. All right, bye.